Alrighty, well, howdy, y'all, and welcome back. We are here,
Hi.
and we are live. We are live with Sly Sparkane here. So, hello, Sly. How are you doing today?
All right. I just wanted to make sure Sean got that cream that I sent him.
He did, yeah, yep,
Okay.
yep,
Okay. So the itching is going away then. Cool.
yep. He applied it last night. Oh,
What's
jeez.
going on there, SciStrikeling?
Oh, the usual. Just got a day off from work and figured what better way to spend it than interviewing Sly Sparkane.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, right.
I
It
could
sounds
think of
pretty
better
cool.
ways, but
It's still early. Don't worry.
well, not here.
That's true. We have movie night tonight over on the SciStrike channel, so that'll be pretty cool. We still do that every week, and
Oh, cool.
so that'll be awesome. That's at 11:45 Eastern time, which is probably like early morning your time.
Hmm.
And let's see. All right, so I just want to get live chat up here, and I got my cat on the stream here. You're gonna have the occasional cat coming in.
Yeah, getting interrupted by. Well, I'm not even gonna go
Yep.
that
Exactly.
way. I'm trying to be courteous.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's get started a little bit. So, most people know the name Sly Sparkane, but some people aren't too familiar maybe with your channel.
Yes,
Um,
I was also announced at the Flat Earth Conference. Oh, I'm
you
sorry.
were.
The very first one.
Wow. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, given the fact that it was done completely screwed up and it was Jeranism actually being a hypocrite, it was hysterical. So,
Awesome. That's funny. Well, tell us a little bit about Sly Sparkane.
well, on what side? You talking about the YouTube side or which leg do
Well,
I use first when I put on my pants? Or
when and why did you start your YouTube channel?
well, I think most of the people who well, let, let me say it like this. First of all, the the name is actually a pseudonym that I use for a character that I used to draw in high school. This when I was in high school, I mean, me and a couple of friends, we were really into art, and we started drawing our own, little comic books and neat stuff like that, just expressing ourselves. And what do you call it? Mine was that was the name of my character, was Sly Sparkane, and but and which became, well, I work in the IT industry, so you know the at least the early dangers of having your name out there
Hmm.
and all this. So when you register an account, like Google Mail or YouTube or whatever, uh, you try not to put your actual name out there unless there's a specific reason why you would.
Right.
And so when I was registering my first smartphone, first Android smartphone, uh, I was just like, well, I'm not going to put my name and my address on that damn thing. So I uh, I put on it Sly Sparkane, and so the channel, dare I say, which was associated with that, because it comes with your YouTube channel, your G Plus channel, and all that other stuff. I mean, everybody remembers how that at least started, and so that became, I started commenting on videos, and then people started seeing my name, or at least that name, and I was just like, well, I guess that's the name I'm using now, and from there came the YouTube channel. I mean, I didn't start making videos till what, 2015, but the account itself was actually started in 2007, so I just kind of rolled with it.
Awesome. So obviously, flat Earth debunking is a big part of your channel. But what kind of videos do you do? Like, do you do created videos? Do you do like some live testing? What kind of stuff do you make?
Well, wow, these are you can make entire videos out of these, each one of these questions. Um, well, when I first tripped over flat Earth, I was actually recovering from surgery, and so as I normally do anyway, but I had even more time in front of the computer, so I was just sitting there, surfing around the internet, and I found myself on YouTube a lot, watching videos about this and that, and documentaries and all this other crap. And So I'm watching stuff, and then in the recommended feed up on the side, I started seeing things for, rockets don't work in a vacuum,
Mm-hmm.
and hollow Earth, and all this other stuff. And I was just like, I mean, even on normal TV, you see those you see these conspiracy type documentaries, even though they are caveated with, this is, conspiracy information, not that, people don't normally believe this, but this is what this group believes or whatever. And so I figured I'd go watch them, and I found out these people actually claimed to be serious. And uh and then I started going through all those, and I started making comments, and then I pretty much, the overwhelming majority of the videos started being the flat Earth videos, and I was just like, all right, well, let's go see what's up with that. And after talking with after watching like several of those videos, I'm just like, none of this shit makes any sense. I
Yeah.
mean, literally none of it makes any sense at
Right.
all. And so I was just like, I started commenting, and I used to some people who've seen some of my comments on earlier videos, what I would do is I would actually itemize them, because you could timestamp your comments,
Okay.
and I would actually itemize. Okay, this sentence wrong because X Y Z. This sentence wrong because
Yeah.
this is, it just doesn't work that way. Here's why. And I started writing all this stuff out, and people were getting pissed off. Those who weren't muting me, they were getting pissed off, saying that, well, it's just all words. Prove it. And even though they weren't proving anything in their own stuff other than their own words. And so I was like, well, shit, I know how to use 3D stuff. I can do this. I know how to cut videos together, and I guess I can put some music in the background. I was like, I'm not gonna put my voice in it because I hate my voice, and I went through all that, and I started making videos. And the first video that I made pretty much destroyed Flat Earth in itself,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just because I was like, well, let me just summarize the things that are wrong with this idea. And well, it seemed to have ticked off a lot of people. And and then then the claims start getting thrown at me. What about this, and what about that, and what
Mm-hmm.
about this, and what about that. And there was a time where, I mean, I had like 2-3 months of recovery from surgery. So I'd just kind of, I'd be sitting on there and messing around on my computer, and then I'd get bored with whatever I was doing. I'd go over to YouTube, and I'm like, all right, and I'd search just the words flat Earth proof, and you'd get this whole buffet of videos and stuff. Most of them were, echoed of other people, but
Right.
and I was just like, all right, well, I'll do that one, and I'll do that one, and I'll do that one, and then just, make my own videos out of it. I come from an artistic background, so it was a lot of fun to make it visually something that somebody would watch. And yeah,
Awesome.
it's fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's one thing I've learned doing it is it's definitely a lot of fun. I did take a look back at some of your old original videos.
Hmm.
What made you decide to do like certain things, like the one in the car with the shell up and throwing the shell up? Like what made
Well,
you decide to do stuff like that as
there
opposed
were all
to
these people
other
who
testing?
there were all these people who were running around saying, I found it to be the most absurd
Mm-hmm.
objection in the whole flat Earth thing, is to deny the existence of gravity. Um, I was just like, and to this day, yeah, I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, and to this day, not one person has given me a suitable replacement for gravity.
Right.
And but they kept on coming with, gravity's not real, gravity's not real. You were taught that in school. You indoctrinated fool, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, where am I going to go with that? And I was just like, because the mixture at the time was gravity versus uh, motion.
Mm-hmm.
The whole argument of we're moving at 1,000 miles per hour and all this other stuff. So I was like, well, a simple experiment would be to just drive down the Autobahn at 100 k's an hour and toss something up and down. If they were right, it would fly to the back of the car. If I'm right, and if basically science in general is right, then it would fall back down into my hand. And I did that, and then all of a sudden, oh geez, oh well, try doing it with the windows open and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, no, what point does that make?
Right.
With the wind, we're talking about gravity here. We're not talking about how my hair looks in the wind. And it's just crazy. It's
Yeah.
so fun to listen to some of these things because none of them actually work with each other.
Right.
So
Yeah, no, definitely. I've noticed that. There's so many different theories and reasons why that they think the Earth is flat, but most of the if you get an argument from all the different people in that community, it's
mhm.
all going to contradict each other.
Yeah, and that's the part that always was a big deal to me. I was like, 2/3 of this stuff I can debunk on my phone while I'm having a cigarette just because I have a little bit of logic in my brain.
Yeah.
And whereas some of them they require either a longer explanation or at least a demonstration. And so I started demonstrating stuff, and I started putting together my own little experiments. And like I said, and I've said this to a bunch of people, I my first actual experiment into non just not even geometry based, but just experiment. I was nervous
Hmm.
because I do believe in science. I do believe that um, there's nothing out there that can't be tested if you at least know the aspects of it. Um, so I was just like, and I came up with what I considered to be what would prove in this case a sun that circulates or does circuits around the North Pole versus the Earth rotating.
Right.
And I came up with what would convince me, and which most flat earthers don't do. And I tested it, and I remember being up on the roof of my building at the time when the apartment that I was living in. I was up on the roof of my building with this setup that I had put together, and I was like, all right, what if I'm wrong? What if we have been lied to? But you have that moment where you're like, okay, well then, if I'm wrong or if I've been lied to, the only person who's going to convince me of that is me.
Hmm.
And so I got to test it. And so I tested it. And I like all these flat earthers that say, blah blah blah, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be arguing with NASA and stuff like that. Look, if I even had a hint of proof for flat earth, just a hint, um if I had a hint of that, I wouldn't need YouTube flat earthers.
Right.
I wouldn't need somebody to show me a website and a Patreon. I You would be best to get out of my way because I'd be knocking down the door before you. And and people weren't getting that. They're
Right.
just like, oh, you need to think like that. No, I don't need to think like anybody. That's exactly what you're preaching people shouldn't do.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What I know you had also the your bet to a couple of flat earthers back then. Your
Oh
your
yeah,
$5,000 bet. Did any of them ever wind up taking you up on it?
absolutely none.
Of course.
The what do you call it? The $5,000 bet. It came out of two things. Number one, the bet itself was to reperform the experiment that I was on the roof of my house doing, and but I did it in such a way that I wasn't just going to, because it was already clear to me by my first couple of videos that people were just going to say nuh-uh.
Right.
And because they absolutely refuse to listen to anything that somebody is saying against what it is that they are believing, I guess. And so people were absolutely just going to nuh-uh everything. So I turned around, and then at that time, somebody who was actually kind of popular, at least in the flat earth scene, just because he was just boisterous, a big mouth, just an ass, was Dan Pratt. And the before he got his channel shut down, and
Mm-hmm.
the first time. And I and one of his little lackeys below his videos, because I was debunking some crap that he had said, and one of his little lackeys and stuff like that started threatening my life.
Oh,
And
jeez.
now, I mean, at first, you're just like, yeah, yeah, whatever. But then he's like, no, no, I'm going to burn down your house with your family in it, so you can't this and you can't
Jeez.
that and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, it really kind of, I'm like, well, it's a good thing that I didn't put my name online, because not because I was particularly scared of them, but the fact that people like that exist.
Right.
It was a reminder that that kind of shit exists. And I was like, all right. So, and so but then, I mean, it turns out later the guy thought my name was Scott and I lived in Kentucky. So, and
Wow.
I still laugh about that. I'll be like, yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'll meet you there. And, but no, I always had these people who were just, giving me so much snot. So I was just like, well, I'm going to put together a bet. And, I had 5K and well, I had more than 5K in my PayPal account at that time. And I was like, all right, let's do this.
Hmm.
I have a test that's going to cost you a whopping maybe $5, and you can do it. You could do it yourself, and if it doesn't prove the difference between flat Earth and globe Earth, then by all means, I will. You have to perform it, but by all means, it'll be 5Gs.
Hmm.
Now, whether I was ever going to collect 5Gs from somebody else, probably not.
Right.
I mean, if I if I had a nickel for every dollar that somebody owes me in the flat Earth community, I'd be quite well off.
Yeah.
But but no flat earther ever took me up on it.
Yeah, I can't say I'm all that surprised, really.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not surprising at all. It's all talk.
Hmm.
It's all if I've learned anything out of this, by the way, thanks a lot, Flat Earth. By the way, I've learned more about the globe than I ever thought was possible. But if I've learned anything about this, anything at all, it's that belief is a really, really powerful thing.
Hmm.
Um, if you get somebody to believe something, forget, showing them something and then they're just like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Right.
But if you get somebody actually in their mind and in their heart to believe something, then getting them away from that is damn near impossible.
Hmm.
And the only person who's going to do it is themselves. And if they're too lazy to do their own research, then, what's the hell? What's the point?
Right. Yeah, makes sense. We have there's a lot of people in the flat Earth community. Some big names and stuff like that. But who would you say is your it's hard to phrase it, but your favorite flat earther? Who's the closest to actually doing tests and stuff like that? Like, who would you say actually puts in the effort to try to prove their point?
Huh. Um, well, putting in the effort and being honest about it are two different things, I guess.
Yes, definitely.
Um, I would say, to be honest with you, in the 5 years that I've been doing this, um, I have rarely seen an honest experiment performed, or one that hasn't been echoed and already been shown that, I mean, been actually falsified, and I don't mean falsified as in faked, I mean in the scientific process, falsified, as in
Hmm.
shown that there is another explanation for it. Um, I would say, honestly, wow, who would I top bill on Flat Earth? Wow,
Two choices from the live chat that they gave were the Athens 619 says that guy, and Gary IOW says maybe Ranty.
oh, that guy was a the dude. That guy, he was just a moron because I gave him one test to do. All he had to do was hold up a ball next to the moon. That's all he had to do, and he didn't do it
Oh, jeez.
because he knew exactly the geometric relationship that displayed. Um, Ranty has done more photographic evidence of the globe than anybody. Um, I mean, more than probably the entire debunking community together.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, he's real good at proving the globe Earth.
I would say my favorite. Let's just put it this way. I can't really think of the reason why I'm struggling with this is
Hmm.
because of the fact that I can't think of a flat earther who has done an honest experiment
Right.
and was honest about their results. With the exception of those who actually took those results and realized that flat earth was bullshit, like,
Hmm.
Jose,
Right.
or something like that, where he actually went out, did his own experiments, gave it an honest shot, and then said, wait a minute, this shit ain't right. this doesn't match flat earth.
Yep.
Um, but I would say, The one that, that I enjoy debunking the most, because he seems to have the larger budget, and if not budget, he seems to make the most practical claims, meaning that he comes up with practical ways of screwing it up. Would be Rob Skiba. I
Okay.
would say Rob Skiba would be my favorite, because he is. I mean, don't get me wrong. The list of honorable mentions is probably the entire rest of the community.
Right.
But I mean, Bob proved flat Earth with, or excuse me, flat Earth, globe Earth with his with that gyro that
Yes.
Jaren said they didn't have, and Jaren proved the globe, which was
Mm-hmm.
actually made it to the documentary. Um, D Marble is just an echo chamber, uh, wrapped up in a wannabe gangster in a minivan. Um, and then people like some of the earlier ones, like Subarats. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God,
Oh.
Subarats! How many ways can you screw something up, Antonio? Um, I remember I loved the part where he lied about a photograph that was, the subtext was in Spanish, or I think Portuguese, and without realizing that you could just hit translate on Google,
Right.
and found out that he was full of shit. And and oh, you can't leave that discussion without talking about Oakley.
Yeah.
Um, Oakley has never done an experiment ever, has said thousands of times that he doesn't need to do an experiment,
Mm-hmm.
yet sits there and preaches the scientific method, and yet ran from testing, boycotted testing. I mean, the list is long. I mean, he was one of the first few people that I actually had interaction, him and Antonio, when they were, still buds,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember his comments that he tried to, he did the whole, why is my satellite dish not pointing up at space and all this other stuff. And but my favorite one was when he tried to convince everybody that the Apollo 17 lunar module ascension from the lunar surface, that he said that NASA claimed to have filmed that from the surface of the Earth.
Wow.
And then when he realized what bullshit that was, and I called him out on it, he deleted all of his comments in that thread. So it basically looks like I'm sitting there talking to myself.
Oh,
It
jeez.
was hysterical.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
But
Uh,
I think the weirdest part though was actually meeting flat earthers in Frankfurt. That was just like, oh my God, these people actually do exist. This is so weird. And I had this guy who wasn't even part of the crew, and he was sitting there preaching flat earth to me, and he laughed at like everything I said. I'm just like, wow, man, just
yeah.
back off of the drugs a little bit. And I was just, anyway, I'm rambling on, sorry.
No, you're
there
good.
are so many examples
Yeah.
of this shit.
On the flip side, who's the worst? Who's the biggest Poe that you think is out there, or that just is the absolute worst, who just parrots what other people say, that sort of thing?
Well, parroting what other people say, I would put that in the squarely into the pocket of Oakley, and parroting what other people say. I had another one off the tip of my tongue. Um, I would honestly say D Marble,
Mm-hmm.
because they everybody. I can't find too many situations under Globebusters where they actually parrot other people.
Gotcha.
Of course, they mirror stuff and all this every now and then, supporting other channels, and you can't hate
Right.
them for that, I guess. But even though it's all bullshit anyway, um, but they seem to, speak their own narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't really put them in that category. But as far as parroting stuff, I mean, hell, the first run-in I had with D Marble, everything that he put out in his smoking gun research, I had already done videos on. So I was just like, okay, well, I'll just, answer it with this clip of this video and this clip of this video, and I already did test on that, and it was just like, it was kind of funny. But I would say, now I don't know if I would put him in the arena of Poe,
Mm-hmm.
um, but definitely just ignorant.
Yeah.
I mean, because Poe has a completely different definition. That guy would probably be a Poe. Um, or the actual account, that guy.
Right.
Let's see, that guy would be a Poe. I'm starting to really think that this guy Bev from Try Thinking,
Mm-hmm.
um, fairly certain he's a Poe.
Yep.
Um, John Savage, the guy who did the first horribly demonstrated gyroscope test. I would call him a Poe because of the fact that it you don't really notice who's a Poe until you notice specifically which questions they avoid,
Yeah.
because they know that when they answer those questions, it pretty much dissolves half of the stuff that they already said, even though it's already logically proven.
Right.
And I mean, when he went on for like 5 minutes about the different types of bearings in mechanics, when it
Jeez.
was obvious that what I had said was ball bearings,
Yeah.
it was just like, yeah, okay, bell ringer, go ahead and
Yeah.
put up your sign now,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
yeah, so.
Awesome. Well, based on that, like what so you do a lot of this debunking and stuff like that, but what kind of like background do you have in science or anything like that? Do you have any formal education?
Well, it's actually kind of funny, but it sounds unrelated until you hear the hook to it. Um, well, let's see. Quick little thing about me. I am well, I have a GED. I don't run from that because I had a real bad time during high school and things just didn't pan out very well. But I went back, got my GED, and then went on and got a degree in commercial art. Um, and then after that, joined the military, got real deep into computers and networks and long range communications, etc., which I've been doing basically ever since then. I couldn't get much work in commercial art because the courses in which I took, um, they centered on the hands-on commercial art stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Actual uh, product drawing, presentation, etc., things of that nature. Some people will understand the word Ruby lift, and doing the hand paste ups and doing half toning and all that other stuff. I mean, it's a very inclusive thing. But at that time, things were moving to computer, and even though I had tons of computer experience because I come from an IBM family, um, I because it wasn't in my curriculum, unfortunately, not many people were hiring me because they all wanted new cutting edge, desktop publishing was the words that they used at the time. And so I ended up not doing that. But my commercial art degree is actually funny how that actually worked into my favor of knowing that flat Earth is bullshit.
Right.
And the reason why is because of the fact that the first words that I started hearing were perspective and vanishing point. And what a lot of people might not know, unless you look it up, I mean, anytime you look up the words vanishing point or perspective, the first things that you see are drawings.
Right.
And there's a very specific reason why that is. Now, I mean, perspective is also used in psychology, but that's, totally, it has nothing to do with visualizing things.
Right.
But perspective and vanishing point are keywords in commercial art, in actual 3D representation in 2D art. And the vanishing point is basically the point where lines meet at a given horizon.
Yeah.
It's a horizon. It's totally arbitrary, depending on the artist. And but it's where those lines meet. That's called the vanishing point because there's nothing else for you to draw there.
Right.
And whereas perspective, those are the lines that you do. Those are your perspective lines. And a lot of people don't realize, or a lot of flat earthers don't realize, that there's not just one perspective and one vanishing point when you are drawing something in 3 dimensions. There are usually several. Even if, I always love to use the excuse. Well, yeah, you can call it an excuse. I love to expose their excuse of perspective and vanishing point when I turn around and I show them. I say, okay, draw a picture of a three-dimensionally correct picture of a building from the vantage point of the second floor. say a 4-story building from the vantage point of the second floor, um, how many vanishing points do you have, and how many lines of perspective if it's just a rectangular building? And they can't answer it.
Right.
And the reason why they can't answer it is, either A, they know the answer and they're not going to say it, because then it pretty much nullifies the use of the words. But you have lines that go up to the top, you got lines that go down to the bottom, you got lines that go out to the back, you got lines that go off to the right side and to the left side. I mean, you'll see all these things when you look up actual perspective drawings.
Right.
And I love the fact that they ignore that. And so, as odd as it sounds, having a commercial art degree, what does that give me anything to say about flat Earth? Well, number one, that was the invitation. That was the perspective and vanishing point, blah blah, are not real things.
Right.
They're not they're not natural phenomena or anything. They are artistic techniques in drawing. So that pretty much destroyed all of that for them. And then beyond that, you do go deep into visual geometry and geometry itself, which pretty much negates all the rest of flat Earth. So I win. And,
Definitely.
and then that plus my interest in arts and stuff like that.
Right.
But no, beyond that, like I said, I'm a veteran. I was 10 in. I did tactical communications, so I know a lot about satellites. I know about line of sight radios. I do know that line of sight radios could transmit a lot further and make much longer range shots if the Earth were flat, because the power is there, the receiving and transmitting properties are there. It's just the geography is not playing with you.
Yeah.
And so and I've designed probably hundreds of LOS shots and SHF shots and UHF shots. And I've worked with TACSAT, I've worked with DCAT, I've worked with how much stuff have I worked with in all the years of military and also the years after it. So
gotcha.
I win.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell you have an arts background when, with your 3D modeling and stuff like that in a lot of your videos. So that's definitely prevalent in those, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I have a lot of fun doing that, and I actually talked my old company into buying me that software. And,
nice.
That was $4,000.
Wow.
But hey, whatever.
Hey, whatever that floats their boat,
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got a lot of good use out of me and it too. I mean, it wasn't a decision made lightly.
Right.
There were a lot of schematics that needed to be drawn, 3-dimensional layouts for upgrades and retrofits to communications facilities and stuff like that they got out of it. So they got a return on their investment, but I got to keep the software. So.
We did have a question from the live chat from the Athens 619, who says, how would Sly talk to Flat Earth Aussie Jesus when all he says is, it's all nothing but convergence, and the vanishing point and the sun is an interdimensional portal?
Yeah, I remember the interdimensional portal. My answer to him was the same answer that I will always give to Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, and that is, prove to me the existence of interdimensional portals.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's one thing I love about so many flat Earth claims. And it's not just his, but that just touches on a subject all by itself.
Right.
Which is, you have to, I mean, I remember the whole period of time where the whole hologram phase, where everybody was saying that the moon and the sun are holograms. Okay, cool. Show me a hologram.
Right.
I mean, forget the moon and the sun for a second. Show me a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, show me that your result is actually a plausible or existing thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind people saying it's a projection.
Right.
If you could show me a projection that can go, according to their measurements, 3,000 to 5,000 miles away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always, okay, we'll prove your point, and they never seem to do that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that most flat earthers don't seem to get, or at least they seem to hang on,
Mm-hmm.
is there was there was the whole phase where everybody was saying question everything, which is what science does.
Right.
Sorry, we got it first, and but a lot of flat earthers believe that because something can be faked, that means everything's fake,
Right.
and because they have a question, that somehow negates the answer that already exists.
Yeah.
Now one thing that I don't remember the name of the documentary that I was watching, but it was something about astronomy. I don't remember. Um, but one of the things that I loved was one of the astronomers had said, he had said this one phrase, and it sticks in my head all the time, and that is, never marry your own theory. Uh, Meaning that if you come up with a theory, that doesn't mean that it's 100% it, because you got to remember the word theory. It still could be wrong. You are just going on the best information that you have available,
Right.
and the best testing that you can give it. And yet, flat earthers think that, oh well, if I have a question about the Big Bang Theory, then Big Bang Theory just goes out the window. Just because of the existence of my question.
Right.
And that's just, sorry guys, that's just not how it works at all. And when you have a question, then it's up to you to do the legwork to find out, what's the answer to that question, or maybe even succumb to the fact that you can't answer the question.
Yeah.
But I get people like, well, I'm not going to give too many trolls credit, but I get people who come on my channel all the time and they say things like, well, you can't measure the distance of the sun because you've never been there.
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
You can measure the distance of something, and I even did a video on that. I even put it out to the public, and everybody was pretty damn close to it. All I did was I filmed a ball from two different positions, and the only information I gave out was the difference in those two positions. That's all I gave out.
Right.
And people got pretty damn close to what it was, and it turns out, well, I had a little bit of bend in the wood that I was running it on, but nevertheless, so it's one of those, how can you even come up with this shit if you haven't even tested? I'm actually in a comment thread right now with somebody who is telling me that I can't, that I've never done any research.
Jeez.
And I'm like, is that the extent of your researching capabilities?
Right.
I was like, all you have to do is click on my channel and you will see. And I even listed stuff to him, and all he did was he went to the first page. Oh, well, all you're doing is talking shit about Bev and Ranty. I was like, really? That's how far you went?
Jeez. Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's just
it can get frustrating.
Well, it gets frustrating because of the fact that, what the hell was that? But it gets frustrating because of the fact that you are dealing with people who demand everything and do nothing.
Right.
Kudos to, I'll say it like this: kudos to Bob for getting that $20,000 gyroscope that Jaron said you guys didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
That proved the rotation of the Earth. I even modeled that out. I didn't even take that at face value because everybody was like, ha ha, he proved the rotation of the Earth, and
right,
3 axis of rotation and all this. I actually modeled the shit out. I modeled the numbers because I wanted to know before I got myself, put my own foot in the bucket and said, that it proves something if somebody could turn around and easily model it out and find out, well, it didn't really prove what you thought it proved.
Right.
And
uh-oh, did we lose Sly there for a sec? I think we lost Sly. Hold on. Let's see what we got. Sly, are you there? Well, we may have temporarily lost Sly, so I will give him a minute, see if he can get back in here. And in the meantime, I'll just go through the live chat here. What do we got? So we got a lot of people in the live chat. I do appreciate everybody coming today. Stringer News says flat Earth confirmed. Yeah. All right. Let me just close out this window here real quick. I lost Sly, so we'll switch it over. There we go. Alright. Well, hopefully Sly will get back in here. Seems he DC'd from us for a sec there. Alright. Dora says, I was shocked by the lack of tentacle monsters. Very disappointed. I've been kind of keeping an eye on live chat, but not 100%. And, yeah. It's, we've gone quite off kilter here. Alright, let's take a look. Well, I'm glad everybody's been here. We're still live. I'm just waiting to see if Sly comes back in here. Let's see what happens on that. Let me send him the link again too, just in case he needs it. Invite. Let's invite Sly. Alright. I have the cat's doing an epic cat battle here. I did hear from Sly. He said the internet just died. Hold on a sec. So we'll wait for Sly to get back in here. Yeah, Microraptor says NASA broke the stream to stop Sly and you from finding out that the Earth is shaped like Nathan Thompson's head. Yeah. I will do that, Tommy, rather. Tommy said, could you ask Sly if he has somewhat of an idea of when he will do his next water level test? Yeah, I'll definitely ask him that, Tommy. I don't think so today, Glass Monster. The interviews are kind of just a one-on-one thing, but I'll definitely have you on, you know, at some point, because that'll be fun. Thank you for coming, Peter Quinn, and thank you for subscribing. I do appreciate that. Nice to see you here. TP Seeker says, last frozen frame looked like he facepalmed so hard he killed his webs. Yeah, definitely. So for anybody just joining, I do apologize. Sly's internet crapped out. He's working on getting back in here, so I do apologize for that. But we are not. We're not wrapping up. We're not finished yet. We're just waiting on Sly. No, you're late, Peter Quinn. We've been live for about 45 minutes now, but no, hopefully Sly will be back shortly. Glad to see you back, Glober Mom and Brainless Steel. Thank you all for coming, and I'm definitely going to watch that video as soon as this is done, Glober Mom. I was looking forward to it. But this was the only time I could get Sly available, because he's in a different time zone. Anaceto says, Sly's router ran out of gasoline. Yeah, Crafty Keela, the kitty counter stands at 1. We only had 1 kitty, but he was here for about a good half hour. Oh, and he's back. Then the kitty came back. Same kitty, too. Microraptor says he fell off the edge of the flat earth. He might have. I mean, I don't know. He's from some, you know, one of them foreign countries, so I'm not sure if they exist. If anybody does have any questions for Sly in the live chat, just tag me and I will do my best to get to them to ask him. Gary says, throw some more coal on it, Sly. He said it is coming back up, so we'll see. Colin says, Sly got sucked into the vacuum of Nathan Oakley's broken second law of thermodynamics. Glober Mom, you do know we are only watching this for the cats, right? Absolutely. The cats make or break the live stream, so 100%, you know. When they leave, I just, you know, it's disappointing. This cat is the cuddly one. He'd rather just sit here most of the day and hang out with me. My one-eyed Willie. He's a good cat. Apparently, he's my disabled cat, according to a certain YouTuber who I've covered in the past. Good Boy Dogo is downstairs, Athens. The way our house is laid out, upstairs is literally just the 2 bedrooms. It's you go up the stairs and there's just 2 doors for the 2 bedrooms and that's it. So we have a baby gate at the bottom of the stairs so that the dogo can't come upstairs, because if he got into the bedrooms it would be disastrous for our electronic equipment. So the cats, though, of course, they have free roam. They just kind of hang out and chill. And
I'm back.
welcome back, Sly. I'm just explaining where the dog is at the moment. I had a question about where's the dogo. So yeah, the cats have free roam of the house, of course, and they like to tease the dog. They sit at the other side of the baby gate and like to tease him.
Hmm. Well, I had to pay the men who showed up in a black helicopter who were saying that I was exposing too much information.
Yeah, that was one of the theories we had in the live chat.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was what do you call it? You can't hear it because it's one of those super secret helicopters.
Right,
but,
right,
bye,
of
guys.
course.
And,
Super secret.
no, unfortunately, Vodafone in my building just absolutely sucks. And as much as I would absolutely love to have a solid internet connection that I actually pay for, yeah, sometimes just out of nowhere it just like blows up on me. I had that 1 or 2 times happen on live streams too. I was like, oh man, this sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
So I ended up getting you out on my phone. That's why I was writing to you saying, oh,
Gotcha.
I'm not gone. I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah, all of a sudden we just lost you. Your last frozen frame before you cut out, it looked like you were face palming so hard that you just broke the internet.
I saw that too because it was paused here too, and I'm like,
yeah.
that was pretty funny.
That was funny.
No, anyway, sorry.
That's all right.
Continue.
No, it's all good. We did have a question from the live chat from Tommy, who wanted to know if you had any idea when you were doing your next water level test.
Next water level test. Well, as it stands right now, there are 2 on the horizon, should I say. One of them is the water level test bug 2, as I titled it. Which is doing the water pipes all the way down the 1,600 meters, individual water pipes this time, as opposed to having the connected ones. That is probably going to happen sometime in the fall. The reason why is because I need crappy weather. Mm-hmm. And since crappy weather is more prevalent and easier to predict in the spring and the fall than it is in the summer, because I mean, let's face it, I got to drive 4 hours out to this place, and then get everything set up and hope that the weather plays along. Last time we did it, it was absolutely awesome weather, but I got beat by gravity.
Right.
But but there's a second test, so that one's probably going to happen in the fall. There's a second test that I came up with, and I'm calling it Bug Light. And basically, it's a shorter version. I haven't really put a video out on this, so I guess you're going to be the first one actually having the majority of the information on it. I'm doing one called Bug Light, which is basically I'm going to take the posts out, just the upright posts. I went out and bought some, those weights that you have at the bottom of the poles on pavilions.
Yeah.
Like temporary pavilions, and you fill them up with water.
Yep.
Well, I just went out, with my own money, and I bought 16 of those, and they come in boxes of 4. And I bought 16 of those, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there to that canal, and I'm just going to set up the posts. It'll probably be just me and my son again, and we're going to align the posts all up together, and so they make a nice straight line. And then I'm just going to take my laser level out to each one of the posts, and I'm making a little, kind of like a little foam boat with a, basically a stick up in the middle of it, and that's going to have a measuring point on it, and then I'm going to hit that measuring point the same way all the way down on each one of the uprights. And then I have these little chem lights, and that I got from Amazon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little chem light on each marker, and then just go back. I mean, no leaks, no nothing. You know, this is just
Right.
going to be measuring. It was somewhat inspired by an earlier test that Jeranism, well, kind of didn't do, and I yeah, and basically I'm going to do the exact same experiment, only without pipes, just using the water level from the canal itself. And because after all, I mean, that's a standing body of water. There's nothing, there's absolutely nothing I can manipulate on that.
Right.
Even though all the claims of the water level, the tube tests are, oh, you're gonna have pressure here and this, that, there, and okay, well, fine, I'll just use the damn water on the canal. And but in contradiction to the non-test that Bev has been talking about, um, uh, I'm going to be able to visually verify, and that's the whole point of my test, is to show curvature without curvature in the distance without interference from the horizon, because to flat earthers the horizon is somehow magical. And does it makes things move left, makes things move right, makes things disappear only from the bottom up, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Awesome. Yeah, I think
I talk so much, my damn cigarettes keep going out.
Oh, jeez. This Sunday, Sean Hufford, myself, and Jesse Klosowski are going to do some drone testing with some ferries and stuff like that over on at the ocean. So that'll be pretty cool. We're looking forward to that. So that should be neat. I think he's
bringing out the big drone too.
Yeah, he's gonna bring the Wakira, and then I have the Mavic 2 Pro, so I'm gonna take that up.
Yeah.
Between the
Mavic,
two of us.
Yeah, I have to repair the ribbon cable on my Mavic before I can use it again.
Gotcha.
I don't know what causes that thing to break, but it broke, and so I got new ribbon cables. I just haven't had the heart to put it in there, because you have to disassemble the entire gimbal. And,
gotcha.
That's promising to be fun.
Yeah. doesn't sound like it. I a couple months ago, the last time I really took my drone up and did some photography and stuff with it was right before Cy had passed, and he would always go with me and do all this kind of stuff because he loved doing that, and just watching it and stuff. So that day, though, when I took the drone out, I went to go take it out to make sure the batteries were charged and all this kind of stuff. And I look at the lens, and it's the Mavic 2 Pro, so it's not a cheap one. It's got that 1-inch Hasselblad, it's a nice camera. I take the drone out of the case, and the lens looked like it was shattered. And I my heart sunk. I was all upset. Luckily, it turns out it was just the filter, the built-in filter on the front of it. I was able to, peel it off, and you can replace them. But at first glance, it looked for sure like it was shattered.
Everything was just trashed.
Yeah. So now we have everything a little bit more secure and stuff, just in case. But we're looking forward to doing some testing. I haven't really gotten to do a whole lot of testing with Sean since he got here, so we're looking forward to that. And we'll definitely be looking forward to your test to see how that turns out. Well, I mean, we know how it'll turn out, but
the first thing that I saw was Sean. And I didn't even realize it was him until much afterwards. I mean, he and I had started talking, and I didn't even realize that the video that I thought was impressive was actually him. I didn't find out till later, but that was when he built the scale model of flat Earth in his backyard, and in Indiana, and I was just, and I constantly laugh at it, and anybody who hasn't seen it, go over to Sean's channel and look for the thumbnail that's got the little ball with a smiley face on it, because I had even written on there, I was like, it was a nice touch putting a smiley face on that ball just to piss people off, and but it was that was the first video I had seen of his, and I didn't really watch a lot of debunking videos. I didn't watch a lot of anybody's stuff, because I mean, I don't want to say that I'm any kind of top of anything, but I was like, I don't want any of my my own personal research or my own personal work to be influenced by others. I mean, hell, when I first got into the whole debunking thing, everybody, whoops, okay, yeah, good. Everything, everybody was I got offers from like 3 different people. Let's start a group. Let's start a debunking group and all this other stuff. And I said no to all of them. And the reason why I said no to them is because their guilt by association is a thing.
Yeah.
And by the same way that we laugh at Jaren because of what Bob did on Globebusters, or we laugh at Brett, the new Brett guy, because now he's associated with Globebusters, and that tells me his level of gullibility. um, I just, that whole guilt by association thing, I was just like, no, I want my work to be my work. If people want to watch it, people are going to watch it. And I mean, of course, I have people who I talk with and people who I've done experiments with, or people who I have just collaborated with. And among those, the top three are Geo, Sean, and Reds.
Mm-hmm.
And but I had so many people approaching me about that, and I'm so glad that I didn't do it, because there's a couple of the people who were actually posing things to me, as far as making a group and stuff, that later on I'm just like, I don't really agree with where this person's coming from,
Right.
and all this. So you would get that guilt by association thing, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I first got my, should I say, I got my first two friends in flat earth debunking were Reds and Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I had done a rather exhaustive analysis of Dwayne Kellum's third balloon, and showing everything about it that proved the globe. And even though he was, he's one of those, quiet flat earther types, oh, I'm not going to get too much in the mix, but flat earth, and I had done a very long video on that, and then this was still back in the time where you could actually message people on YouTube.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, I started getting I just got one message. People weren't pestering me or anything like that, but from Reds saying, hey, we saw your video and shit, and how about coming on the show and talk, and or coming to my channel and talk. And I'm like, okay. And I did, and that started that, at least that collaboration.
Right.
But in the grander scheme, I think if you could mix, this is going to sound partially insulting, and in some ways it's meant to be, but I think if you could mix Wolfie's professional experience
Mm-hmm.
with Red's debating experience, my analysis experience with Sean's voice, oh my God, that person would become president.
Yeah, definitely. I could see that.
Because I mean, let's just put it like this, and that's not to let down anybody else. I mean, Geo's knowledge
Mm-hmm.
on just about everything is awesome.
Right.
And there's so many other people that are in that. But if you made all of that into a single, pardon the euphemism, ball, that would be one hell of a game right there, because Reds is probably the best debater in the entire subject.
Right.
As far as being an oral debater. His rocket launch footage is great and stuff like that, but but as far as doing a lot of work in flat earth, as far as performing experimentation or anything like that, it's not really what he produces.
Right.
Even though he can argue every last point of it, he just
Yeah.
doesn't do he doesn't produce experimentation. Whereas Wolfie, like I said, with his, I mean, he's probably, I'd probably marry the guy if I was gay. What do you call it? He's just an all around nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
With a pilot's license.
Yeah.
And obviously the salary to boot. So he's
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of cool toys, and so it looks, he can put together some awesome information, and very beneficial information for those who watch his stuff. Sean has also done a lot of work, and he also follows the social side of this shit.
Right.
I don't follow the social at all, unless somebody throws it at me, like that recent
Right.
shit with Unirock
Mm-hmm.
and all this, and
Oh,
then only
yeah.
to expose 5 seconds later everything I need to know, which is,
Exactly.
if Unirock doesn't like you, he's going to lie about you. It's just what it is.
Yep.
And and I saw no reason to go any deeper into that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because he made it so easy for me.
Yeah.
And but so if you wound all that together, I mean, just the body of information that we put out
Yeah.
is just incredible. And it's all stuff that, I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, a lot of this stuff that I've been working on, and the analysis that I've been doing, and all the the experiments that I've been doing, they're kind of spur of the moment. These aren't things that you were taught in school.
Right.
I mean, if you went on to a higher, level of learning for whatever, sure, you would go into those depths. But, you know, I didn't learn about Eratosthenes in school.
Yeah.
I didn't learn, I mean, yeah, we knew who Newton was, because, you kind of go with that one. But, I mean, a lot of this other stuff, like, why is it possible to see this portion of the lunar eclipse from this location? Or why is it that, sometimes you have a ring of fire or lunar eclipse or solar eclipse, and not a lunar ring of fire one? How come the umbra, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I didn't even know about umbra and penumbra until I did the damn video on it, because I
Yeah.
did my own research. I mean, it's not something, these are not schoolyard curriculum, and so turning around saying, oh, you're indoctrinated and all this other stuff, you need to really go back and check your science books, because most of this shit wasn't in it.
Yeah.
This
Definitely.
is all extra learning and all this. I actually found out just the other day, because I'm working on a video about the written word, and I have my absolute favorite book. I have 3 versions of the book, and it was a book that was produced by National Geographic called Our Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how many other people got the book because of their unending National Geographic subscription,
Right.
but I have that book, and what was really kind of funny is, I never really paid attention to all the the talking and all the history shit in the beginning of it. I always paid attention to what it said about the planets and what it said about space travel and all this other stuff. And but one thing that I didn't even notice, even though the pictures, I mean, I had the pictures, just ingrained in my mind because I've been through that book so many damn times,
Right.
was the Eratosthenes experiment is in that damn book.
Huh.
And I was like, that is so weird, because like I said, I had never read the beginning, the opening portions of the book. I skipped straight to the parts about the planets and shit,
Right.
and but without realizing that the Eratosthenes thing is in there, and explained the exact same way that it was for hundreds of years. And some people, because there were a couple of people out there who were saying that Eratosthenes wasn't a thing until the 2000s, and they just entered that thing into the Wikipedia and all this. And I'm just like,
Yeah, that's
I mean,
crazy.
so somebody posted on Twitter the other day, and I found it so perfect. It says, you ever heard somebody say something so stupid that you get the Forrest Whitaker eye?
Yep. That's
Like,
funny.
what the hell are you talking about? But it's so funny.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
I did
I
have
didn't
a
realize.
question for you about just your personal life. What kind of hobbies do you have? Like, what do you like to do in your
Oh
spare
my
time?
God, what kind of hobbies do I have? Sweetie, where do I begin? I am sitting in a room right now that is specifically designed just for my hobbies. Um, I mean, commonly referred to as a hobby room. Haha. The I have shelves and shelves of electronic devices and parts and pieces. I'm big into radio controlled stuff, electronic stuff. I'm getting into microprocessors. Um, I have, right over there is the telescope that I just got. My P9 or P1000, P900, P1000 is right over here in a cabinet. Um, I'm huge into computers. I love I am I love making music, even though the stuff that I've put out isn't really making music. It's more of arranging loops. Um, and oh my God, what am I not into? I think about the only thing that I'm not really into is chemistry, and that's only because I'm pretty sure I would blow something up. And
Yeah, that's not so
I
good.
mean, I am in a room. I just moved into this apartment not too long ago, and one thing that has been an absolute nightmare is putting together all of my parts and pieces. You know, my radio controlled stuff, my Lego stuff, my electronic stuff, computer stuff, AV stuff. I mean, I just got so much stuff. And as a matter of fact, hold on. I'm going to leave the light off just as to not embarrass myself, but because this room is actually full of just all kinds of crap. I don't know if we're going to be able to see this here. Nah, it's too dark.
Too dark, yeah.
Um, yeah, and I don't really. Well, maybe if I pointed this that way. Okay, well, there's some of my shelves of stuff.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah,
and things.
Sly has stuff, and what do you call it? Now this is just my hobby room. It is in no way reflective of the rest of my apartment, of course.
Right.
But this is my man cave. This is where I have all of my parts and pieces, all of my somewhere down on the floor. There's actually the box of all of my flat Earth stuff. As a matter of fact, you know, I mean, I have you know, even going all the way back to, actually, wait a minute. No, can't see it, because even up on the shelf back there is the globe that I made because I didn't think I had one. Turns out I had one in storage. But the globe that I made for an Antonio video, and you know, I got so much. And then over here is all shit. All right, I'm gonna have to, and over here is my workbench.
Aha.
Move this out of the way so I can see a little better. It's an absolute mess right now because I got 3 projects that I'm building on it right now. But that's all my workbench, my RC airplanes. Yeah, I mean, I just got so much going. And over there, I don't know if you can see it very well. Yeah, it's like right in the doorway is my telescope.
Yep.
And geez, I just yeah. What do I not like?
Lots of stuff and things for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, just because I get so interested in things. You know, I'm the kind of person who will learn brain surgery just because of the fact that I want to know how this one nerve works.
Right.
You know? And is that going to put back on there? Yeah, this is where this all goes sideways, you know.
Yeah, you know.
And
literally.
well, I guess that works.
Yeah, it works.
And but you know, I like to I like to figure stuff out. I mean, most of the projects and hobbies that I have are just so I can figure out how something works.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else,
Yeah.
but I just, you know, I want to see if I can do it, see if I can make one, you know, or is there, you know, just to even further my own understanding of it. And so, you know, I just have that much fun with it. Oh, here's the remainder of the balloon that we were trying to get Red's live stream shut down.
Yes.
And I drew big pink balloons, boobs.
Yep.
And,
that was funny.
Yeah, no, they actually my boobs shriveled. So.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they do that over time.
But I mean,
jeez.
no, I just really I really dig doing stuff and
Yeah, absolutely.
figuring out how things work. And I'm looking over right now at a headset that I had built because I was learning about how other things you can do with a Wii controller.
Jeez.
And no, it's actually pretty incredible.
Is it?
Yeah, well, the old Wii controllers, they use off the shelf technology, and you know, it's basically it's Bluetooth with a camera and accelerometers. That's all a Wii controller is, and a couple of buttons. But And on the front of it, on the front of a Wii controller, that little IR sensor that's on the front is actually a 1024 by 768 camera with an IR filter on it. That only lets infrared light go through. And then that little thing that you put down below your TV, you know, that little strip that you put down below the TV.
Yeah.
That's got two little IR lights in it, and when you point your controller at it, that's how it knows what direction it's being pointed in. And then, you know, when you move it around, the relationship of those two dots inside of that camera, you know, do that. Well, there was this guy, Chen, I forgot what his first name was, who was doing all kinds of research on the use of that technology, of just positional technology with due to the correspondence of infrared dots on a camera. And you can make your own interactive touch table, you know, with a little projector and a Wii controller.
Wow.
You know, it's so crazy. And I'm looking over here at because one of the projects that he was working on, I actually replicated, and it was basically, you know those work glasses that you can get that have the two little flashlights right here.
Yeah.
Okay. The swap those flashlight LEDs out with IR LEDs, and then point a Wii controller at yourself, and then interface it with this software, and it knows the position of your head. So therefore, it can make changes in a picture, like on a wall.
Right.
And the one that he was doing was called, I think it was called Virtual Portal, and basically what I did was I took a picture out my window of the buildings across the street, and then that's also where my screen pulls down for my projector.
Gotcha.
And then I ran the software and then put my Wii controller down on the down in front of my screen, and I'm moving my head around, and it moves the picture around in correspondence with my head as if I'm looking through the wall.
Oh, that's cool.
By being, you know, just angularly correct with what part of the picture it's showing me. And, you know, it was just,
That's really neat.
I'm looking over at the headset that I had made for that about 3 years ago.
That's awesome. Well, I think we've been live for a little over an hour now, about almost an hour and a half actually.
But
so
Doc, I didn't know my time was up.
Well, you know,
my HMO pays better than this.
we had to wait for somebody to get back in here, you know. I don't know how that happened.
I should get my time back for that. I want a refund.
Yeah. We did have a question from Crafty Keela. She said she wants to know if you think cats, dogs, or goats, which are better?
Cats.
Definitely cats. I don't know.
Yeah, because well, I mean, yeah, sure, you can kill a goat and eat it and what do you call it, or you can drink its milk or something like that, but ultimately they're a smelly animal that sits outside. Call me civil, I'm sorry. I did grow up next to a swamp, but at the same time I don't need livestock. Dogs are cool, but dogs require, in my opinion, way too much maintenance. I mean, I've had 2 dogs, and I love them to death, and you know, I would never replace them for anything. But at the same time, they are maintenance intense. You constantly have to go out with a dog. You have to, you know, I mean, and while that does invite you to get out of the house every now and then, it doesn't matter if it's rain or shine. You have to go out with the dog.
Right.
And whereas to me, I think, me personally, I love cats because cats have their own attitude, their own personality. I've always loved the saying that cats don't have owners; they have employees. And you know, so, you know, as far as given that 3 choices, I would say cats.
Yeah,
Definitely cats.
I agree. You know, I love my dog. He's a good boy, and he's a big German Shepherd doofus. But he's definitely a lot of maintenance for sure. You know, the cats, you can kind of, you know, you feed them and you know, they have some water and, you know, clean litter pan and they're happy. Where, you know, the dog, he's always all up in my business.
Well, I mean, you know, my the last dog that I had, I'd be sitting on the computer, you know, and you got your arms like this, and you know, you're doing your thing and stuff. Dog has absolutely no problem. I mean, don't get me wrong, cats are just as equally annoying when it comes to computer work. But what do you call it? But she would come up and then just kind of like I'd be working on something, and then all of a sudden my right elbow would get lifted about a foot because she would go like this, trying to tell me that she wants to go outside,
Yep.
and she would just like she's literally lifting my hand off of my mouse, and I'm just like, you mother. but
Yep.
but that's that's just what that is, I guess. I mean, I have no hatred for any animals, of course
Mhm.
not. I love all animals.
Yeah.
But as far as ones that I would actually, have as part of my life, cats would be the number one choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dogs would be close behind, and I don't think I would get a goat.
I thought about a goat just for the not having to mow the lawn aspect of it, just a couple
Yeah.
goats for the backyard, and
Well, you can get pigs and not have to throw any trash out. So
that's true. While we're at it, might as well.
pigs are cute. Come on now.
Some are. But with that, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I do thank you for coming today. I really, I appreciated it.
Hey, no problem.
I do have another interview coming up that I'm working on. I can't quite say who live yet, but it's going to be a pre-recorded. It's going to be a pre-recorded interview, but I'm going to make that video hopefully soon. As soon as we can get the actual interview done, I'll make that video and get it published. It's definitely going to be a big one.
Does that mean you're going to be editing the video?
I will be
because edited not video that's got edit points in it must be fake.
Obviously. I mean, I'm sure there will be those that say it's fake, but it's a rather big name person, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for the interview. So I'm excited. So thank you again for showing up today, Sly, and thanks for talking with us. It was nice to get to know you a bit.
Appreciate the invite, and yeah, anytime you're looking to do another show or something like that, just let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to get you to do another. Oh man, what was the name of that game with us? The one
that one with the arms.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my god,
yeah.
that was terrible.
We need to get you a controller for your computer.
No. Now wait a minute. Now, in my defense, hold on a second. When Sean had said we were going to be doing that again very soon.
Yes.
So, what did Sly do? Sly went out and got himself an adapter. And I have a USB adapter for my PS3 or PS2 controller here. And,
nice.
And I was all ready to go.
Perfect. Well, I will let Sean know
because I call back. No.
Blame Sean.
I will blame Sean. Sean, you bastard.
No, we will definitely do that again very soon because that was a lot of fun, and I've had people asking about that. So we'll definitely be doing that again sometime soon.
Well, we got to play that one game again because that.
I know. I can't think of the name of it, but yeah.
I don't remember. Hang in there. I think it was called.
Something like that.
Yeah, hang on or hang in there or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Something like that. But yeah, we're definitely gonna play that again soon with you. So I'll definitely make sure you get an invite for that.
Yeah. Dora, actually, I'm in the process of building a controller, but that's an entirely different discussion.
Oh, jeez. All right. Well, thank you again, everybody.
On that note, let me go back to defending myself on Twitter and then telling some other asshole on YouTube that, if you don't do your own work, I don't care. I don't, because look, if I could put in a closing remark, I would say it like this. People know that I won't debate people who don't do their own work because words are useless to me, basically. They are absolutely useless in a scientific debate. Mm-hmm. I've often asked a lot of flat earthers, I've told them, I said, would you take my words as proof of the globe? And of course they say, no, of course not, indoctrinated, parroted, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not going to take your words as proof of flat earth. Mm-hmm. So I'm a person who says, show me the work or just go the hell home. I don't really care. And so, I used to be a lot nicer about it, but, there comes a point when you realize that, it's just not, no.
Yep.
No. It's that they're not going to take it anyway, and they're going to sit there and talk shit about you. So, time to be a little bit more of an ass.
Well, that's a perfect way to end it.
All right, there, sweet.
Thank you again, Sly, and I'll see everybody later. Good night.